I spoke to rugby star Tendai Mtawarira, who has joined the Unicef campaign to get our kids back in school on the continent. Mtawarira, thank you so much indeed for joining us on the program. Welcome.
For having me, Peter.
All right, so UNICEF have come up with some very disturbing statistics in terms of the number of kids that are out of school at the moment in East and Southern Africa. And you've joined their call to get kids back in school and to get them back in school safely. Why have you joined this call?
Me, Peter, it was a no-brainer. UNICEF invited me to join this call, and as a parent, I definitely want my kids to be in school. And I know that schools, they offer much more than academic learning. They're a safe haven, safe environment for kids to grow and develop. So, it was just not ideal to have schools closed for so long. So I just wanted to rally behind a campaign where, we get schools open again all across Africa. And we get our kids learning and growing every single day.
You talk about it being more than a place of education. What else is quite important that happens at schools that we've got to make sure that our kids get back?
Schools also offer, other, very vital services, particularly for the most vulnerable children, for marginalized communities. Sometimes they only get their one and only meal at school. So, and by not having schools open, you also get kids getting involved in bad stuff. They get to be introduced to, to the world of crime, and some of the kids get into child labor, and even get, young girls getting married at a very, very tender age, where they should be in school and learning. And now, they're taken away because they got no other means, and they just want to, have a normality in life, and they look to somebody they shouldn't look, to, and they get married. So there's all these things that happen, and especially in Africa, and it's really sad. And I just believe that education is the answer to that. And I've actually got a foundation, the Beast Foundation, which is also championing, other social causes, and education is a center of our attention in a big way, because if we want to realize, our fullest potential as a continent, we're really going to have to, educate our young people. If we want to have leaders for the future, we're going to have to educate them and equip them with the right skills and tools they need to thrive in life.
So we talk about schools being more than just places of education. In many ways, they are setting us up for our futures. If I think about your career, your skills and your talents probably were given birth to and nurtured in the school's environment, weren't they?
Certainly true, Peter. It was at school where I discovered that, I had a talent in the game of rugby. And it was there where I nurtured that talent, where I listened to my mentors, my teachers, and they helped me to just become the best version of myself. They prepared me, for the big stage. So a lot of that foundation, was laid, I really believe that schools are just such a important, foundation for all young kids, not just, trying to thrive in sport, but, if you want to become a doctor, you want to become a scientist, anything that you dream of becoming, you can realize it at school,
And I suppose also, we're differently resourced across the continent. And so for some schools, and I think about rural areas in particular, at home isn't an option because they don't have access to gadgets, so that remote learning becomes something impossible and they literally miss out on education.
I agree with that 110%. Most of the kids, that come from rural areas don't have access to digital platforms. They can't go on Zoom and participate in class and learn from their teachers. So now they'll be stuck, in a bit of a void, where they can't get any assistance, and obviously there's no internet. And if it is there, the bandwidth is not strong enough. So, it's all those challenges that kids face when they're out of the school premises, and it's something that needs to be addressed.
So what do we tell parents who are worried? Because, we're scared for our kids, and they just hear all these stories about 19 and schools and super spreader places. What do we tell them, given the science that's out there?
What I would tell the parents that are still concerned is that, we have learned a great deal over the last, months, about how to safely open, restaurants, other premises, schools, and there's a safer way to actually go about, your business on every single day, and also for young kids to get back to school. So I just need to tell them that you must trust that, there's, government regulations that have been set in place, and there's an emphasis on, implementing mask policies for students and staff, in accordance to, guidelines, and also providing hand washing facilities, hand sanitizer for the kids regularly, and trying to keep them in smaller groups so that they don't interact with the bigger masses. So there's a lot of controlling measures that are put in place to make it safe. So I think, all the parents that are concerned should have faith in that.
Only when I left school that I realized just how long a year is in a kid's life. And this pandemic's been with us for some time now, and we know that some schools have been closed for months and months and months. And in a child's life, that's an eternity, isn't it? And we just can't afford to have them missing so much time and education.
This time, and, I can even see it in my kids, when they were stuck at home, they sit there idle and they become, somewhat couch potatoes, and they want to play on their gadgets. And in that environment, kids don't really grow, they don't learn a lot. So, what I always try to do is to get them out there, do activities, go for a run with me, let's go to the gym, walk the dogs, keep them active. So it's really not ideal. So, yeah, and for other kids, their dreams are kind of, been set back in a big way, because other kids were trying to obviously play in their senior year, senior rugby year, and be scouted, by other franchises out there, so they could realize their professional dream. But now it's not there. They have to go through other means. So it's just not ideal. It's a dream killer, to keep our kids, out of school.
Perhaps finally, Unicef is making this call. What is your message to the authorities in East and Southern Africa in particular?
Just to, to the people, in the East and South Africa, is that, there's a safe way to open schools, and it's been proven, so we need to trust that, and we need to open schools for our kids to go and realize their dreams, and grow and learn. And, we've got so many challenges on this continent. There's, unemployment, there's, huge socioeconomic disparities. And the only way for us to reach that or, overcome that is by educating our kids, and that opportunity to grow and learn and, become leaders of the future. So, so please open schools.
Tendai, just before we go, completely off topic, but we've got you, so I've got to ask. It must be difficult for you watching the Springboks struggling since the World Cup victory. Do you think that the team can turn it around? You probably are going to have to come out of retirement.
Peter, I know it's been a tough 2 weeks for the boys. I'm in regular contact with most of the guys, and I can tell you, yes, it's been horrible. But I believe that, we'll show our true character, come tomorrow. We'll show the world that we're world champions for a reason. And I think, there's no bigger test match than facing the All Blacks. And you don't need any motivation to get yourself up for that. So I know the guys have prepared themselves well, mentally and physically. So I believe they'll be ready. So there'll be no need for me to come out of retirement.
Tendai The Beast Mtawarira, tatenda zvikuru wetabasa. Thank you so much indeed for joining us, and we certainly wish you the best with this campaign and also the work that you're doing with the Beast Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you for it.
All right, our translation for you. Tatenda Mkoma means thank you, older brother. That's Tendai The Beast Mtawarira, urging all schools to open and get our kids back into school, working alongside Unicef. All right, that's